So you're adventuring around Tyria and killing enemies has gotten so easy for you that now you're determined to kill rocks, trees, and whatever miscellaneous plant life that's done nothing wrong to you. Congratulations, now you're a true adventurer. Let me teach you how to do that. Gathering in Guild Wars 2 isn't like gathering in those other games. It's cooler, it isn't into trash TV, and sitting with the popular kids. What I actually mean by that is unlike many MMOs that require a skill, any character in Guild Wars can harvest all three types of harvestable nodes. There's no profession required to hit a rock with a sharp stick. All you require are the appropriate tools and lack of care for Tyria's natural beauty. So, if there's no profession, then how do you start? Well, it's easy. Once you hit level 9 on a character, the game will give you the lowest level of tools, Copper, and tell you that you've unlocked Gathering. Technically, you can do it since level 2 once you left the tutorial if you bought the tools yourself. So in order to gather things, you need tools. That's no surprise. To purchase these tools, you generally need to go to a merchant marked by a pile of coins on the map. They don't all sell tools, unfortunately. If you're struggling to find one, you can go to a major city crafting area, and there will be a gathering merchant by the crafting plaza that sells them. Once you find your merchant, you can purchase tools. Gathering in Guild Wars is broken down into 6 tiers, separated by the level of the area you are in. If you do not have a high enough level tool, you will harvest ruined materials that are just vendor trash. Your tool can be higher level than the area with no issues. The only issue is if it's too low level. I personally always just carried the highest level tools I could buy, and the tiers are as follows. Copper tools are good for resources in zones level 1 to 25. Iron tools are good for zones level 20 to 50. Steel tools are good for zones level 30 to 60. Dark steel tools are good for zones level 45 to 65. Mithril tools are good for zones level 60 to 79, and orichalcum tools are good for zones level 75 to 80. These are general guidelines, and some zones have overlap where certain areas go up to a higher level of material. Try to keep your tools as up to date as possible, and if you ever see ruined materials after you start harvesting a node, you know it's time to upgrade. Mining picks and logging axes stack to 100, and harvesting sickles stack to 50. Plant nodes are harvested one time and use one of your sickle. Logging nodes take 3 uses for a full node and give you 3 logs. Mining is a bit different. The average mining node also takes 3 uses for a full node. However, you can encounter rich mining nodes from time to time in specific locations. These rich veins can be gathered 10 times instead of 3 and have a higher chance to give you rare gems. Let's talk about those rare items. Whenever you mine a node, in addition to the ore you are mining, there's a chance you get a gemstone based on the tier of material you are mining. Rich veins giving you the best chance. With logging, it's similar. You can get hidden item bags or rarer materials depending on the tier you're harvesting. Plants just give you plants, and occasionally a junk dandelion blossom that sells for 2 copper. Extremely exciting. You may be thinking, well, that's great and all, but how do I get cloth and leather? The answer to that is there is no dedicated way to harvest it. They're not technically part of gathering. Despite there being a few select synthesizers and guild halls that will give you these materials, you have to acquire them from looting enemies and salvaging gear. Now, what's salvaging? At level 12, the game will give you your first salvage kit, but they can be purchased from merchants just like tools prior to this, usually at the same vendors or right nearby. As you adventure, looting chests and your fallen enemies, you will acquire scrap salvage items or gear of differing qualities. Playing in core tier areas, you will get actual individual pieces of gear. Once you get to expansion content, you will get the stackable pieces of unidentified gear of 3 different qualities. These items can all be salvaged using salvage kits rather than sold for money. When you salvage them, you get crafting materials related to the item's level and rarity. Any quality salvage kit can salvage anything except ascended gear. The quality of the kit simply determines how good your rewards can be. Prior to me buying the unlimited salvage items, I generally used a basic salvage kit to salvage greens and lower, and then a master's salvage kit to salvage yellows and up. Ascended items are a bit different, giving you specific ascended crafting materials or very rarely refined crafting components. They also require specific ascended salvage tools and kits that have to be purchased from different vendors, like the ones in Fractals of the Mist's lobby. But this is a whole other can of worms about ascended gear. Those are all the basic mechanics of gathering and salvaging. It's very simple in Guild Wars 2, but there are some special things I wanted to cover in this video. We'll start with synthesizers. In World vs. World, at each objective, rather than being randomly scattered through the map, there are resource synthesizers that you can harvest. Guild halls can also be upgraded to have these, including cloth and leather synthesizers. Joining a maxed out guild hall for a bunch of easy to harvest materials each day can be pretty helpful, and sometimes completes dailies for even more rewards. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Unbreakable gathering tools. These are available for purchase in the gem store and have actually gotten a massive upgrade recently. These can be purchased and equipped to give you a completely unbreakable tool. There are sets that include all 3 tools and a glyph selection chest for each of them, or you can buy them individually if you so wish, but the bundles are better deals. The glyph selection chests are the massive upgrade they recently received. Rather than specific tools giving specific glyphs, sometimes you can now get these chests and choose whatever glyphs you like best, allowing you to mix and match multiple good sets. I personally got the volatile magic harvesting tools back in the day, so I constantly get volatile magic while harvesting anything. But there are plenty of great glyphs, including ones that can give you leather or cloth scraps while harvesting, or even just give you an extra strike on a resource node. If you play a lot, these can be a huge benefit. If you're sitting on gems from your Soto pre-order, or have been thinking about putting some real money in for quality of life upgrades, an Unbreakable tool pack goes a long way. If you play lots of different characters, get yourself 3 shared inventory slots to put them in, and leave normal tools in those slots so you can just equip those tools when you log out, and you'll have tools on any character, and also have your Unbreakable tools ready for whatever character you play next. You never have to worry about gathering again, and those glyphs can increase the profitability flat out. Now you know everything you need to get started gathering and salvaging to get you materials. Now your material storage is going to be bursting at the seams, so click here to watch my in-depth breakdown of crafting in Guild Wars 2 to find out how to use all those sweet materials.